In this video, we'll look at how to edit images that we've uploaded to our website. Editing images will be the same for pages, posts, and photo galleries. So for this lesson, we'll just be using the sample photo gallery. Let's go to the folder that we created earlier in the photo gallery called My Vacation. And we'll click. And let's click on the cat image. Okay, now we can see the attachment details window here. This is where we can edit the details of the image. So let's start on the right hand side and discuss the buttons at the top. Here we can navigate left and right to view these photos in our folder. And the X button obviously just simply closes this pop-up window. So let's move down to the title area. This is used to specify the title or header text of your image. The caption is used to specify a short description of the image, as we can see here. Alt text is used in various scenarios, but one scenario is for people who are visually impaired and use a screen reader to help them to understand the page that they're on. And there are other reasons for alt text, but we won't get into that here. The description box is where you could put a much more lengthy description of the image. Now, our websites don't use this feature, so I would just leave this blank and just use the caption field. At the bottom, we have View Attachment Page and Edit More Details. Now, those are options that you probably won't use on a photo gallery, so we'll leave those alone for another video. And if you want to delete an image from your website, then the Delete Permanently button is where you'll do that. Okay, now for some good stuff. If you look over to the left side, at the bottom, you'll see the Edit Image button. And I'll go ahead and click that. Okay, now the screen has changed and we're in the edit mode for this image. This is where we can actually edit the image itself. And at the top left, we have a row of toolbar buttons that allow us to edit our image. The first one we have is the crop button. Now this button is disabled right now because we don't have an area selected to crop. So let's do that now. If you're on a mobile device, I would highly recommend switching to a desktop computer. So let's see. I'd like to see more of the cat. So I'll select an area around the cat's head and I'm just clicking and dragging. Let's just say something like that. Okay. Now notice that the crop button is enabled now. So I'll go ahead and give that a click. Okay. Now I didn't do the best crop in the world, but I've did that deliberately because I want to show you something later on. Now notice here on the right hand side now we have the undo button. Now the undo button obviously will allow us to roll back the change that we just made to this image. So if I click undo, our changes have been rolled back. But what if we like the crop, for example? So I'll just go ahead and click the redo button. Okay, let's just keep that for right now. Okay, moving on, back on the left hand side, we have two more buttons in this list. These are the rotate buttons. Now, there may be times when your photo is uploaded to the site and it's oriented sideways, like this, or even like this, upside down. So in this scenario, this is where you would use the rotate buttons, and I'll go ahead and rotate this back to the correct side. Okay. Now, the next two buttons are used to flip the image, so either top to bottom or left to right. Okay, so technically we're done with our image, but let me touch on an area on the right hand side. Notice this crop that I made. I want to change this. And to do this, let me explain something here. Now, there's some help buttons that can explain some of these features to you, but I want to show you this here. And you can read this in your own time, but I want to show you this about aspect ratio. Now, aspect ratio is some technical jargon, but I want to show you how you can use this to define a perfectly square area to crop an image. Now, some images on your website may have a requirement to be perfectly square. And we can see here that this image is not square. So if I drag out a selection area again, let's just say I did this, for example. Okay, then if I wanted a perfectly square selection, I could set the aspect ratio 1 to 1. Okay, now I have a perfectly square selection area that I can crop. Now, I could have set the selection area here to something like 200 by 200 or 300 by 300 and just drag the selection area over. Now, I'm not for sure why the selection area values aren't changed when I set the aspect ratio like we did a while ago, but I didn't create this and they didn't ask my opinion on how to do this, by the way. So if I go ahead and crop, let me just go ahead and crop this. Okay, so that's real close up, but I just wanted to demonstrate this. So again, if you want more information on this right-hand side here, this area, then just feel free to click on these help buttons. But since we're finished here with these changes, let's go ahead and click the save button. Okay, so now we're out of the edit window and the changes have been saved. So to verify this, let me close this window. And let's go to our photo gallery. And let me click on my vacations. Okay, now I want to find that cat image. I see it right there. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And yes, the cat image has been updated. Okay, we've covered some advanced material here, so if you need to go back and rewatch this lesson, then feel free to do so, but if not, I'll see you in the next video.